Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanson and Stephanie Phillips with Veterans in Politics. Jim Jonas is not here today. He caught ill, so Stephanie is gracious enough to take his place. We have two guests today, Tosh Seal and Mike Abarca.
Abarca, yeah.
Abarca.
We're good.
My last name's Carrington, not Seal.
Let's go home. Forget it. Turn it off.
I'm done. Tosh Carrington and Mike Abarca. They're veterans that hunt down. Did I say that right?
That's right. You're close enough. Hey,
Bakar.
it's good enough for government.
They're veterans that hunt down missing teens in the Las Vegas area. And we're going to hear about them and their organization. But before we get to them, Stephanie, you have any rants?
You know, I know this is a first, but no. We have incredible guests, and for all that they do, we'll forget politics for now. No rants.
No rants?
No.
Oh. Nobody
No,
tailgates you today?
I'll
on
be
the
kind.
Freeway?
No. No.
Okay. Well, let's go with Tosh Carrington.
Yes.
Oh my God! Thank God. Tell us about yourself. Somebody send me this seal. Who sent that to me?
That's on my phone, too.
Mhm. Tell us about yourself.
Seal is what I was for 25 years. So I was in
What kind of seal?
Harbor, I guess. No. I did 25 years in the military and 23 of those years in the SEAL teams.
Oh, so you were a Navy SEAL?
Yes.
You didn't ring the bell?
Nope.
Really?
No.
Tell us about that.
I was too stupid to quit.
I know a lot of people that rang the bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good Navy
do.
people that
Yeah,
rang the bell.
Yeah.
Real hard chargers that rang the bell.
Well, they were smarter than I was.
Well, congratulations, because I know that's not an easy task to do.
Yeah.
It's not. So please, with your bio. I never had somebody so close to me when I did the interview. They're usually over there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Huh? I did 25 years in the teams. The last year or so in 2014, a friend of mine who was also in the teams came to me and asked if I wanted to join an organization called Saved in America.
Okay.
And what they did is recover runaways at no cost to the parents. And I said, yeah, sure. What's it all about? And
Right.
once I got involved, I saw what was going on, and I've been with them ever since. And I retired in 2015.
So you've been with them since 2015?
2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Okay. That ends your bio?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
all right. That's important anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mike, pronounce your last name.
Abarca.
Abarca.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Abarca.
Please tell us about you.
Well, for me, I'm pretty simple. Was a Marine for the last 12 years.
Oh, no, there's no was. Remember the Commandant came down a few years ago and they said once, always.
Was active duty Marine
Oh,
for,
right, here we go.
for about 12 years.
Uh-huh.
So now just former, I guess you could say. But the last 6 of those I spent in the teams as well. Well, the Marine version of the teams, Raiders from MARSOC.
Okay.
And doing special operations with them. And through that, when I was in my transition process out of MARSOC, they put me
Explain MARSOC so people can understand what you're telling me.
MARSOC is just the Marine Corps variant of special operations under SOCOM.
Okay.
You know, just like
Another abbreviation. Marines got all kinds of abbreviations.
Yeah,
Y'all
I know
know.
it. I know. There's abbreviations for everything. But yeah, the Army has Special Forces, 75th Rangers, stuff under SOCOM, NSW with the SEALs and stuff, and then AFSOC has their own special operations, and then the Marine Corps has MARSOC.
Yeah, they're the newest addition to Special Operations Command.
Okay. Is that like the Air Force? I mean, the Space Force that they
No,
say?
Special Operations Command is it's
Right.
the U.S. government's U.S. military special operations. So SF, SEAL teams, MARSOC, and then the Air Force has 2 components, and I don't know what they call them.
Yeah,
So-
we're not as new as the Space Force. Officially stood up in 2006,
Okay.
which is when I graduated high school. So Yeah. But yeah, did that, loved it actually. And then through that,
Okay.
on my transition out of active duty, assigned to the training cell. And that's where I met Tosh. And, being a SEAL and everything, we trained together and trained other raiders and teams, preparing them for deployments until I left active duty. And through Tosh, that's when I discovered Saved in America, and he brought me on board, and been doing that for the last couple of years now.
All right, well, tell us about it. Who wants to go first?
Well, Saved America was started by Joseph Travers. He's got his own story, which it would be great to do an interview with him. He got an idea about trying to recover runaways, and he thought, if I remember the story right, he was reading a newspaper article, and he saw that their former special operations guys were going overseas and recovering girls that were caught up in human sex trafficking. And he thought, well, there's a big problem here in the States. Why don't we do that here in the States? And so he started it with another SEAL. He got a hold of another SEAL, and they started the organization. And that's shortly after that. That's when I came on board. But Saving America is since I've been on in 2014, they've recovered 270 girls. Yeah.
All female.
Yes.
What about
Yes.
the males? They don't run?
Forget
about them.
No, that really hasn't. Parents haven't come to us.
Really?
With sons running away.
Either they don't run away or they don't care if they run away.
It could be. I don't know why
Or
the
they make it
statistic
back
is the
home.
way, but girls are a little bit more susceptible to some of the, guys. You get a guy that he'll figure out a different. He doesn't really have to worry about getting raped. You know what I mean, or be used
sex
for
trafficking.
sex trafficking. Maybe in some weird circles
Mhm.
I don't know anything about, but the girls are the ones that are really the victims on this.
So, Mike, how do they get a hold of you guys? I mean, let's say I have somebody that's missing and Metro couldn't find them. What do I do?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Parents have to reach out to us, and no charge to them. We go to work. And we
Yeah,
find
they go to the
them.
website, saveamerica.org.
SavingAmerica.org.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they go to the website and
There's an application process.
okay.
Okay. That application process, they fill out important information for us.
What do you mean by that? Important information? Height, weight, description.
Yeah, all the important information you need to know about
Exactly.
the individual, to include a lot of the social media stuff they're involved in, all that, and then their contacts.
Okay.
I mean, it's a big application. They fill out the application. We search through that information to help locate their daughters, and then they also fill out a limited power of attorney, so we can speak in behalf of them with law enforcement.
Okay.
And then once we have all that data, we have investigators who go dive deep into locating where the girls may be.
Okay.
That's when I get called, and then I put the team together that we go to different locations to do surveillance and stuff like that to try and identify where the girl's at.
And when you say surveillance, what do you mean?
So let's say a girl lives in whatever town, or we think a girl's in another town. We'll go set up and look and try to ID the girl at that location. And sometimes it takes hours to identify. So we got to set up surveillance and see where that
Are
is.
you the white van that was outside my house last night?
One with no
Maybe,
windows?
yeah. No.
So-
You guys are a nonprofit. Where do you guys get your funding and is it
From the
all
public.
support?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it.
Okay.
That's
So
it.
which,
And how do you guys advertise or get your name out there or things like that?
well, word of mouth, really.
Okay.
We have a YouTube channel, I think now, and we have a website. That's why we're doing it now. Meet with you guys and other people is because we're trying to get the word out to the parents to let them know that we exist, that we're a resource that they can use.
What kind of license you guys carry?
So everybody becomes a licensed private investigator.
Does it matter what state or is it?
We do it in the
transferable?
state of California.
Okay.
Okay. If a case, so for us, as far as I understand it, is if a case starts in California, there's a little reciprocity. We got like 30 days to be able to, but because it's voluntary, we don't have to have a license to do it. We just do it. Joe has us do it for our due diligence to show that, hey, we're training the guys. The guys aren't just knuckleheads. You know, everybody's a former law enforcement officer or a former special operations guy. So it's not
You can't
just
be a regular jarhead off the street.
you can work in other capacities, but as far as like surveillance like that, everybody
Not
on the
on the
team
ground
has
operations.
training from the military or from their law enforcement agency in this field.
What type of training do you look for?
So I evaluate the special operation guys that come on. I'm the final say, hey, Joe, yeah, this guy's good. I look at their DD-214, and then I look at their background. And if they're not special operations, then I know they probably haven't gotten the training that they're supposed to have had. And just because a guy's special operations, I also look at what their training is.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they don't have the surveillance training, they don't have the street craft training that is offered in special operations, then
What do you
I
mean by
usually
street craft training?
just like what it sounds like,
Okay.
surveillance and things like that,
Yeah.
right?
To blend in, basically.
Yeah, there's certain things I can't talk about, right? So when I say street craft, there's another name for it. But those skill sets, if they have those skill sets and they have the actual training for it, then they're a guy that we pick.
Do you guys carry weapons?
Yes, we're all licensed. too,
Okay.
yeah.
In what? In any state that
Well, we have, so what we do in California is we are all security guards also. So private investigators, security guards, and then we go through the exposed carry training process. And then everybody gets certified that way, which is something that you have to maintain as an individual. And then most of the guys have their CCWs.
So I'm in Vegas. I go on your website. I fill out all that paperwork, and you guys are interested to come down. So you come down, and what do you do?
So we start an investigation. So once we get the intel package, that goes to another group of investigators that we have that know how to do all the social media stuff, and they do we do a deep dive on the investigation. We don't just, oh, here we come. You know, we're in communication with the parents.
Right.
We let them know what's going on. They give us information. Our guys are investigating, trying to locate. Once we get a good lead, that's when those investigators contact me to get the team together, and we'll go track down that lead and we'll look at it.
Exactly.
And
So
we'll report on it.
let's say you found out where just say where my daughter is. You found out where she is.
Yes.
And you found out that she's with some Mexican cartel that are doing human trafficking, right? And they're pushing girls out for sex trade. And you found out the area. What do you do next?
Okay, so once we ID the individual that we're looking for, that's when we call law enforcement.
Okay. You guys don't go in there yourself.
No.
Okay, because that's what I was alluding to.
So in the military, we have something called finish, which is the phases of an operation.
So this is what I'm thinking, right? You know, you found out where she is. You guys go bust the door down.
No,
through the window.
If only we could.
No. Because remember,
Oh yeah.
what we do is about the victim. Okay. Bad guys, parents, all that stuff really does not matter. It's about recovering that girl.
Okay.
So, and then there's legal issues. You can't just kick somebody's door down. Okay, right? And go in there guns ablazing.
That's what I want to know. Do you guys have power to arrest?
Well, see, the problem is, right, no, we don't. And see, the problem is, right, the police, like, we want the police to want to work with us, and we don't want to be an extra pain and paper trail for them, right? So in order to jive the best with the local PD and to gain their trust and to not have to worry about extra work and legal stuff on their end, right? we are there to find and fix, like Tosh said, and then facilitate the recovery. So we build intel packages, we confirm PID locations, and we find, fix, and then we facilitate the police coming in to actually do the door busting and recovery, the physical recovery of the child. And then on top of, then after the child's recovered, then we do follow-on intel packages to do whatever we can post-recovery to help the police learn more about whatever network did this and maybe make some arrests, stuff like that, which has happened. So that's kind of like the full process, that we tackle it very systematically from the very beginning. We build those intel packages, we send out surveillance, we confirm, we deny, like what's a good lead, what's a bad lead. We vet people along the way because not every player is always good. So we do whatever we can to try and facilitate the recovery as well efficiently as possible. And everything is kid-centric, right? There's a lot of different factors and stuff that are involved, a lot of unknowns. So basically we have to prioritize one thing at a time. And so we always prioritize the child first, and then we kind of figure out everything else and go down those rabbit holes along the way.
Have you ever been in a situation that you know where the child is and they're about to move the child somewhere else, and you have surveillance? Law enforcement is not there now, so
No, we
you never encountered anything like that.
No, we have recovered a girl in San Diego that was about to get moved. That we did not know that at the time.
Did you act?
We were able to get the girl. It's just we did not know that she was about to get moved south of the border. And that's one of the things I want to talk about is like what people don't understand in this country is that our girls are getting convinced to leave their home. And once they leave their home, they're getting caught up in this world, right? And they get addicted to drugs by these people that are drawing them out. Then they put them on a circuit throughout the country, turning tricks, right? Once they get to a point where they're, not so important anymore, then they ship them south of the border and never heard of again. And they disappear from the face of the earth. So yes, there's a problem.
They kill them? Or they're just
have no idea.
mixed in with the human trafficking over
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
That's basically just an unknown statistic. So that's the issue that we try and focus on preventing, is because there's always a finite amount of time between when the girl goes missing to when that grooming process actually takes place in full and then into the ether. And who knows, because that's really the end state ultimately for most of them, is they end up just getting exported somewhere. And
I think the statistics in most of the big cities, like 48 hours before a girl from the time she leaves home, she's got about 48 hours before she gets contacted by a human sex trafficker. I know in Vegas it's 24. So I don't know about the rest of the state, but I know in Las Vegas it's a 24-hour period. They're going to get contacted by a human sex trafficker, and then that's shortly after that.
Reno is also 24, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so that's a Nevada thing. So with these guys, pimps, basically, right?
Not necessarily.
Traffickers.
So not necessarily.
Some of them are females too, right?
Yeah, some of them are females.
Yeah.
But
Groomers.
So Dr. Amy Carpenter did a report in San Diego, and she found that every public high school and junior high has a human sex trafficking recruiter. So in other words, they're in your public schools, you've got somebody that's in there that's feeding, the gangs. These girls, that's how the boys are getting pulled into the gang or being accepted into the gang, is by how many girls that they're pulling in to do these things.
Really?
So yeah.
So when you guys take these people down, law enforcement comes in, you guys take the girls.
We don't take anybody down.
Well,
we recover the girls.
Yeah, when law enforcement comes in. So these guys, what happens to these traffickers? What's is it like first offense? They just get a slap on the wrist?
It depends on what the laws are. We've recovered girls in California, and nothing has happened to the guys that the girls were staying with.
Really?
Yeah.
And how about your experience in Nevada?
Can't say.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the time. So we worked with Sparks PD. They took down that dude that was in Mexico in conjunction with federal law enforcement and the Mexican authorities. Actually, they helped take that guy down. I think State Department was all. I don't know all the details on that.
Mhm.
I don't focus in on that. I focus just on
The
the
child.
girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what Saving America also does is once a girl's recovered, we try to assist the parents to help that girl recover from her situation.
Okay. So you provide assistance to the family for
after
all of
that.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is when they're sending a child over the border, let's say, what is that dollar amount that they're
I have no
getting
idea.
for that? You don't know that?
I have no idea.
You said
It's
that
horrific.
you guys recovered 270 females. About that?
Yes, 200.
Have you faced any type of hostile situation in recovering any of those girls?
No.
Never once?
had,
Wow.
never had to go hands on. Never had a confrontation with anybody. No.
So what are the signs would you tell parents to look for?
Man, pay attention to your kids' social media. Pay attention to what they're doing on their cell phones, what they're doing on their computers. Be intrusive, be a pain in their ass, and pay attention to what they're doing. If you don't do that, there's probably something going on that you don't know about.
Are most of these in the foster system? I know we talked about that before.
It's-
Are there,
it's-
is it like half and
Well,
half?
it's tough to say most because, yeah, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, the foster system is pretty much, there's no statistics, like hard statistics on that, because it's pretty much unreported when it comes to the trafficking thing. So it's really hard to say where the majority lies.
A lot of our recovery, so a few years back, we were working with a facility in Southern California that took care of foster girls, okay? And they were having a problem with these girls. Every Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, they'd leave the facility because California's a non-lockdown state, can't lock the girls down because they're juveniles. They'd come and go as they please. So what you found was happening was these girls were being taken care of during the week, and then on the weekends, they were taken off, turning tricks for their pimps, and then come Monday morning, they're coming. So the facility asked us to provide not security, but awareness of what's going on with the girls. So we would do surveillance on the facility, and so a lot of those recoveries that we did from there was, hey, we'd follow a girl to wherever.
Okay.
I know we prevented, I don't know, maybe 50 pickups.
I was gonna say, it was a staggering amount.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah.
Do you guys send out your information to all law enforcement throughout
No,
the
just
state?
just the facility, or just the law enforcement agencies that need the information, right?
So you don't use that as a way of advertising your organization by sending it to each law enforcement saying, hey, this is what we do out here. If you guys,
No,
No?
it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
So you got to remember, this is a case. So this is an official, like, hey, when a parent comes to us, they are our client. We're just doing it for free for them. So they have, they're the ones that have to be able to, hey, please contact these people. Please talk to these people. You know what I mean? It's their case. So,
Mike, you have kids?
I do.
How many?
I have two.
What are the ages?
Two young girls, about to be 5, and then 3.5-ish.
What make you want to do something like this?
Like Saved in America,
Uh-huh.
because man, it's pretty close to my heart. Like I couldn't imagine losing one of my daughters to something like this. Oh, I mean, at all, but I mean, especially to this. I mean, that's got to be a parent's worst nightmare to know that your daughter's getting trafficked and all that stuff's happening or has the potential to happen. So for me, my heart really breaks to hear the staggering statistics, and you just want to do something. You just want to help in some way.
Yeah, so when I first brought him on, I had him go to the website and I said, hey, take a look at what the problem is, because Yeah, on the website, there's all the statistics, all the reporting, all that stuff. And he he came back the next day. I said, hey, take a look at it. You know, you want to come on board?
That's going to bring me to my next question. What are the statistics? How many young teenagers, female, get missing in this country every single year?
Unfortunately, that number's climbing exponentially.
Too many.
How many is too many?
One.
No. How many is that? Ballpark.
Oh, well, we're
Overall.
in the like I would say easily the
I don't know the math right now. It's high.
it's about 400 plus thousand if I'm
Look
not
at my phone.
mistaken.
400,000 young girls every year.
Is that
I mean,
right?
In this country.
nationwide, yeah. I mean,
Is that right?
there's a lot. I don't have the official numbers in front of me, and it's growing. Unfortunately,
Can you pull up the Save in America?
there's a lot of factors that
website
play into
with
that,
the actual numbers?
but it could be anywhere from the border crisis, because now you have a lot of cartels, and see the problem is too that's not helping, because the cartels are finding, well, it's old news now, they have found that, well, humans can make a lot more money than drugs, because you don't got to grow them. When you pick them, they're not dispensed. You can reuse humans and stuff. So you, on the importation side, you have kids being reused as, well, this is like their kid, like, family. So it gets people across the border, then that kid gets sent back across and recycled. And then the problem that we're tackling, that we're focused on, is the exportation side, where now our children are getting lured and addicted and trafficked and exported out. So it's a real it's a really heavy issue.
Yeah, the actual numbers, though, if you want hard numbers, you got to go to the website. She's looking it up right now, but SaveAmerica.org has the actual numbers of what you're looking for. It's a lot. Let's just put it that way. Way too many.
It's
way too many.
The problem is it's worse than you think, and it's about as bad as you're afraid of it being. So
you're talking about coming across the border. Is any leave ports, like shipping docks, and go to other countries from there in containers, or vice versa?
So there's three main corridors in the United States it happens to be the same corridors for drugs. Okay, and that's the Florida, up through Texas, and up through Southern California, San Diego. Those are the three main corridors for stuff coming in.
Right.
And then once it gets in, then it goes on a circuit throughout the country. So the girls, they get put on that same circuit, and they get sent to places probably like Nevada or wherever these people want these girls. And then once they're pretty much done here, they get sent south. And what the corridor is for that is, it's open border. Going south, no one checks anything going south.
Do they send these kids to other countries from our ports? You don't know.
Obviously, but I don't know where,
Okay.
who, how, all that stuff. We just know that they're getting taken south.
Are there any organizations out there, or I don't know, bad people say that comes up more and more, that they say, hey, look for this guy or look for this organization? They're the ones that are doing the human trafficking. And does any of that
We
ever
don't get
come on
anything like
radar?
that. We know that it's the same people that are selling drugs, cartels and Mexican gangs and whatever gangs that are doing what they're doing. It's the same people.
yeah.
What about Asians? Because like these massage parlors that they have around here.
That's a different human sex trafficking issue. The Chinese thing that you're talking about. I don't know about the stuff coming this way. I know that's a problem, and they're that's a horrible thing. Saving America's focus is on American kids, being put into the circuit and then getting sentenced out.
Okay.
Right, and that's why I think Joe called it Saved in America.
So same question I asked Mike. How about you? You have kids?
Yeah.
And what motivates you to do this?
What else are you gonna do? If you care about your children and you know this is a problem, why aren't you doing anything about it?
You guys do this voluntarily, so
Yes.
you don't get paid for this. So
No,
how do you make
that's
how do you
correct.
make income?
We've got jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. So you leave your job and just pick
So
up and go?
I'm retired from the military, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm,
boss.
I am the boss.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's different.
I'm retired and I do
Doesn't
government
make it
contracts.
necessarily easier, but
Right.
yeah, I pick up and go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you.
I do
retired.
government contracts,
Okay.
working for Spec War and stuff like that. And it's not a all year round. Also, I do private investigating work for profit on the side.
Okay.
And I also have a training company where I teach people how to shoot, all that other stuff. So I'm my own boss outside,
Right.
kind of, because I still do contract.
Right.
But I just have the time for it,
How many's on your team?
We
Or how many are involved in saving America?
So my surveillance team includes the one in San Diego. Now there's reservists throughout the country. I don't know what those numbers are. Joe would have to tell you what he's got going on with that. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3. There's about 8 of us total that do the surveillance. But the team's much bigger than that. But everybody's a volunteer, So
So who funds the organization?
the public, yeah.
100%.
So which brings us up to our fundraiser that we're going to do tomorrow, tomorrow night.
Where?
Good question. Where is it at?
The Red Rock.
Red Rock Hotel.
The Red Rock,
And
baby.
I don't have the information in front of me.
Mark
And
Morgan will also be speaking at nauseam about
do you have the information? Come on over here and tell everybody. Come on over here and tell everybody.
Where in the Red Rock? It's kind of big.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you tell me.
Come on over here.
Just saw it for the first time today. It's
So
huge.
I'm not a social media guy. I don't do any of this, the fundraising. We're surveillance guys. And
So,
Right.
folks, this is Jennifer Baker.
Hi, everyone. So we will be at the Red Rock tomorrow. The information will be all over the signage throughout the building, letting you know what room we're in. We will be there from 5:30 until 9 p.m. And you were asking, Steve, about the border conversations. Mark Morgan, the former ICE director for the previous administration, will be there talking about the border issues, the statistics, and more information than we probably have ever heard direct from the source, which will be great, talking about border issues as our keynote speaker for the night. And then they'll also hear from, because I know there's a lot of questions about who ends up trafficked and stories like that. There's actually going to be a real life amazing story. One of the most recent Saved in America clients will actually be talking about her rescuing her granddaughter using the Saved in America team, which would be great.
So what happened if they don't, I mean, they just heard about this. They can't attend the fundraiser, but they want to donate. How would they
If
do
they
that?
can't attend, there's a couple of different options. I just spoke to Joseph and Stephanie about it. They have secured a couple options. One, you can go online, and there is a huge fundraising push for the online donations. They can go on and participate in the live auctions anytime, all day tomorrow through the weekend, and all those proceeds will go to this specific operation, which is awesome. It'll help them offset their costs. From what Joseph told me was they've spent almost $100,000 in searching for kids here in the Las Vegas area. And so that's what they're working on, is just offsetting some of the costs this time.
yeah, on savedamerica.org. Just go to the website.
Thank you, Jennifer.
SavedInAmerica.org.
Okay. So you guys have anything else you wanna mention?
I don't have anything else.
How about you, Mike?
No, I mean, this is just something that obviously is near and dear to our hearts, and it's something that, like you mentioned before, we all have kids, and, we can only imagine what a parent would go through. And this is how we help. This is our way of helping
back.
and doing whatever we can. And anyone else who feels strongly about an issue like this, I would encourage that you would help out as well in any way that's best suited for you.
So do you guys recruit new members?
Yes.
to help?
There's an application process. There's also a reserve program where, so flying a surveillance team out to, let's say, Ohio to find a girl is expensive. So we try to keep our costs down.
How many's on the team?
It depends on how many we need, right?
Okay.
So, let's say in Ohio we have a girl that's missing in Ohio. If we have a volunteer investigator in Ohio, which they can do through the website, they can volunteer, then we can reach out to them, keep the costs down, right, and have them go out and do the piece that we do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The surveillance work.
Surveillance piece, or even some of the, get out there and chase down leads.
So
yeah.
you guys cover all 50 states?
Yes.
Alaska and Hawaii as well?
We've never gone there, but I believe so. We're looking for
I'm
volunteers.
sure there's a lot of missing in Alaska.
And I have
You better get your Marine Corps
I would-
training for that.
I would go
place.
to Alaska in a heartbeat.
Right.
I like Alaska.
We're hoping to get volunteers in every state. Multiple.
How many states do you cover now?
The entire continental U.S.
Okay.
I know that.
All right, let me put it this way. How many volunteers,
I
how
don't
many
know.
states you have volunteers in?
I'm not sure. That's a Joe question. He has numbers. I know we have people in Florida and Texas.
Okay.
I know we have Missouri. We've got a couple people there. And
We got East Coast as well. It's hard to pin down a state from time to time because, when I came on board, we were a little bit SEAL heavy.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of frogmen, right? But now,
Those Navy guys, they're just everywhere.
man, I tell you, what are you gonna
Yeah.
do? What are you gonna do?
But he was a Marine too, so.
Yeah, well, that's his only saving grace,
Yeah.
But we've got some more Raiders on board and stuff like that as well. But actually, a lot of the Raiders that we have on board, onboarded lately, they're still active duty. Many of them, and so they get PCS different parts. We got people in Virginia, and next year they'll be in North Carolina.
Mhm.
So we mainly cover like regionally instead of specific states because we have a lot of active duty guys that do rotate around. So
if somebody wants to be a member of your team, what are the basic requirements you look for?
well, they got to be retired law enforcement, or they have to be a former special operations guy.
You're trying to say a basic Marine wouldn't do it, but a regular street cop would?
We don't have an excess of crayons and windows to lick. So
Oh my God.
I'm kidding.
Look at this guy here.
man,
He can't recruit.
shots
That's what
fired,
I'm
dude!
saying.
Did you hear that? Shots
I
fired.
hear it.
No, I'm kidding.
Man.
No, because
Should I return fire?
Yeah.
the guys have to have a basic level of training that includes this type of work.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So the surveillance piece and it's easy for me to say as far as like look at a DD 214 of a special operations guy, and I can look at it and see, okay, he's got this training.
Yeah.
And I don't need to spend a lot of time training the guy on what I need. I need to be able to call him up and say, hey, can you go do this, this, and this?
Yeah, but it's a little more emphasized on like the field operator criteria, right? Because, for instance, SEAL Raider, different but the same simultaneously. So we're both technical surveillance experts. That was some of our core training while we were, during our team time. Well, Tosh and I can go on to surveillance right now, and even if we've never actually worked together, this is our first one. We speak the same language.
Yeah.
Got it.
There we go. Case in point, right
Just
there.
like a radio man, right?
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. But there's other ways to volunteer. There's other ways to help. You know what I mean? We do have some other people that aren't special operations, and they help on the tech side. So
Could you break down? I don't know if this is a question I shouldn't ask, but could you break down the race characteristics as far as how many does Black America call out and say, hey, my kids are missing? Does the Asian American call out, say my kids are missing? Does the tribal community call out and say my kids are missing? does the white community call out and say my kids are missing?
Man,
I mean, is there a statistic like what the nationalities that would really call out to say my kids are missing?
if there's a statistic,
just-
I don't know it. Okay, so I don't want to talk, wrongfully. I know that the majority of the girls that I've been involved with have been Hispanic. So I know the Hispanic families are reaching out. Never done a recovery on an Asian girl or anything like that, or
What about the tribal?
So I know that's an issue. They're having a serious issue with sex trafficking and girls disappearing and stuff like that. I don't know. I haven't worked any case that was specifically a tribal situation. We're trying to get involved and try to help them, on the reservations and stuff like that. But I can't talk smartly about what the statistics are, and I don't know what they are. Okay. And really, be honest with you, I don't care. If the girl's missing, let's go get her.
Yeah. The reason why I brought that up because some heritage don't want to say that their kids are missing, or they don't want to reach out.
I don't know. I don't know the information, so I don't want to say, oh well, these people don't care about the kid. I don't think that's the issue, and it doesn't matter. Okay. You can't force parents to do the right thing.
True.
So if they're reaching out to us and they want their kids found, we're going to go get them.
Okay. Well, what is the cost to do something like this? Or it depends on how much time is
God,
involved.
you're asking the tough questions. I know we do it.
And you see all my notes I have here.
Yeah. Now, I don't know.
It can be quite expensive.
Yeah, it depends on how far it is away from
It can be
Southern
quite
California, how many people we need to bring, where we're going to be doing it at. So the costs are whatever they are.
Yeah,
I know that we're doing it cheaper than, let's say, what a law enforcement agency would have to do to go and look for a child. I used to know this stat, but I don't know what the variance is and what it costs an agency to do it and us doing it.
From the time you get the call till the time you find the child, how much time is that? On an average.
Way too long.
On an average.
So we have to do an investigation from scratch.
Yeah, on an average. What's the ballpark? 2 days, 5 days, 2 months?
Each case is a different thing.
I get it, but ballpark.
I would say 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm guessing, 2 weeks, because I don't know. So I don't know when we get a case necessarily. I may if I hear about it, but the information once we get the information, Joe and our social media guy Frank, they gather that information and they go to work, and sometimes they don't tell us about it, and they actually do the recovery through the parents, through family members, without even contacting me and the team.
Is law enforcement welcoming, Mike? Do they welcome you in helping them with the search?
I've personally had nothing but good experience so far with law enforcement. They've been very helpful.
How many law enforcements have you actually dealt with?
About 5 different agencies now. And
Which ones?
Oceanside PD.
Oh, I used to live there.
Yeah. Well, hey, Camp Pelton, yeah. There we go.
I was stationed on Pendleton.
Yeah, same here. So very familiar. And I live in Temecula now, and I have very good friends that we go to the same gym, and they're OPD, and I actually used them to help recover a missing girl about a month and a half ago. It was my most recent one, and that paid off wonderfully. They were great, and I'd say OPD was amazing. They gave us all the contacts for special teams, and we exchanged all the information and helped do that. Sparks PD, Reno, and then here in Las Vegas. Nothing but great things to say.
So have you worked with the FBI? Because is some of these cases a kidnapping case or is just missing person?
It's usually
Or
missing.
both.
I don't know.
They
So
kidnapped and they're
It
missing.
turns into that.
so there's 207 cases. I don't know.
Because that's a kidnapping, right? If somebody takes a girl
Yeah.
or anybody,
They go
it's
voluntarily though,
kidnapping.
sometimes.
Well, it starts off that way, and
Yeah.
then
And then they keep
because
them.
when it's kidnapping, it's federal, so the FBI gets involved at that particular time, correct?
I would believe so, but
that's a difficult thing to say because
that's
the
a
case
question for
is
Joe because there's a lot of
I'm
cases.
getting all these Joe questions.
Where's Joe?
The point is,
Where's Joe?
we don't work on at that level. There's a whole nother side to Saving America. We're like the last guys that they call to, hey, okay, we need you to do this part of the investigation. Joe and Frank really do their due
Who's
diligence.
this Frank guy now?
He's our social media investigator.
he's one of the wizards behind the scenes.
Oh yeah,
Is he a hacker?
He's he's.
I don't know if he's a hacker. He would never.
I need one
admit
of
to-
those.
I'm gonna
He's
tell you
pretty-
something.
yeah.
If you need something done on a computer,
He
he's
does
your
it.
guy.
Yeah.
All right, good.
I'll put it that way.
And he can find the people. I couldn't believe when he found the girl in Mexico from Sparks. I'm like,
Sparks.
yeah,
You found her in Mexico. What part of
Yeah.
Mexico?
Baja,
Really?
yeah.
Tijuana?
Rosarito.
Oh, Rosarito. That's a beautiful spot.
Yeah. But yeah,
Frank he's badass.
so when that happened, and he located her, I'm like, well, how? Not to go into how he did it because I don't want anybody to know, but
Right.
I was like, wow, that's amazing.
When you find these missing teenagers in a foreign land like Mexico, how do you get them across back into the United States?
So
Tricky,
Sparks.
but-
So we were working closely with Sparks PD. They kind of handled all of that side of it.
Okay.
So I think they got State Department, they got FBI, and I think the federales were involved too.
Yeah.
So
They go their back channels with law enforcement channels, and they facilitate. They do that end of it, and then we just focus on what we can do on our end to fix and.
And here's another question you probably don't want to answer, but I always ask questions that people think about it, but they don't actually say it. So how do you get your weapons into Mexico?
we don't go into Mexico.
Oh, you don't go at all?
No.
Okay.
This is one of the things that Joe is like, hey, work within the law, work within the system that we have. And that's what we do. We take it right up to the point of, hey, okay, now we're starting to get into law enforcement definitely has to handle this. So official.
So when you find out that that a young teen is in Mexico, kidnapped at this point, you guys
it becomes a State Department issue.
you guys are hands off at this point.
Yeah, we're just providing the information. Right.
Even though, believe me, there's nothing I would like more than to strap up and call the 160th over to freaking fly me in there and knock
drop
down
you,
the door.
parachute,
Yeah. There's nothing I would like more
or
than that.
repel
but,
from a helicopter.
hey,
And if anybody's telling you they're doing that,
there's no way.
there's no way, unless they're working for an agency of some kind.
Unless they are like an agency.
All right, gentlemen, you have anything that you want to get out that we didn't cover?
No, man, if you can come to our fundraiser tomorrow night, that'd be great.
I'm going to let you do that. Mark is going to zoom in on each of you,
Okay.
and you could say whatever you want to say. If you want to give a point of contact, if you want to give the information for Save America, or you could do that as well. It depends on what you want to do. We start off with you, Mike.
Perfect. Thank you for the opportunity. If this is something that means a lot to you and you're just now discovering how big of an issue this is, it's worse than you think, and it's as bad as you're afraid of it being, if that makes sense. And if this is something you can get behind, then I encourage you to please visit savedinamerica.org and find out what best suits you and help in any way that you can. That's really all I got there.
Tosh?
He
Same
said
thing.
it all.
Oh, boy.
We've got a function going on tomorrow night at the Red Rock Casino. If you're interested, please go and join us.
SaveAmerica.org.
SaveInAmerica.org.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you.
And I know this was a last minute for the both of you. thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
It was a last minute for me too. Thanks to Jennifer Baker and Tosh. Thank you so much for coming on. You know, hoorah to both of you.
Heck yeah, Semper Fi, man.
Stephanie, thank you for filling Jim's place.
No problem.
I know it was a last minute for you
Yeah.
too. This is a last minute
It
show.
was.
That's why I got the names wrong. Well, Mike Abarca,
Abarca. That's right,
Mike
there you go.
Abarca and Tosh Carrington.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
Thank you both for coming on the program.
Thanks
I
for
really
having us.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank
Stephanie
you.
Phillips. Folks, that's Mike Abarca
Damn.
and Tosh Carrington. They're two retired. Well, I don't think Mike's retired. Is he retired from anything?
No,
He's still doing some stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. They're two veterans that have a heart of gold to save missing teens, and go to saveamerica.org to either sponsor or join their organization to help look for missing teens, or if you're a parent and your teen is missing, contact saveamerica.org. They need funding as well. They have a fundraiser tomorrow night at the Red Rock Casino. You could go and purchase your tickets online, saveamerica.org, or you could talk to Jennifer Baker. Mess her name up too. I'm just messing. You know, sometimes I do this deliberately, and people say, "Oh, that guy's an idiot." But I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. And Stephanie, again, thank you so much. This is Steve Sands and Stephanie Phillips with Veterans in Politics. Until next time.